It's wintertime in the wasteland. A thick layer of snow blankets the landscape. For many, it is a welcome sight. But for me, I hate it. And since the snow refuses to stop falling, I'm left with no other choice but to
bring the heat.
Hey everyone, I'm TCS23 and welcome to Battle of the Builds Episode 2. In this quick video, we have 2 more battle cars to put to the test in order to find out how well they can heat up the competition. In the first episode, I introduced a new way to give a rating for any build you use in crossout, and I call it the build rating system. I made a few adjustments to the format and overall look since then, so I wanted to explain those changes before we get into the builds. So now the burst chart is separated into 2 parts. The first graph includes the range of possible base scores along with their equivalent multipliers. If you remember from the first video, your base score should be logged after each game and then marked according to what range it falls into. This will then be repeated for 20 consecutive games, regardless of whether you win or lose. We then move on to the second part of the graph. Here we tally up the previous points, which gives us a total score that directly corresponds to a build rating. If you're interested in how I came up with this rating system, I explain it in more detail in the first episode. Okay, so now that we have that covered, let's check out our newest build designs. First up is the dual incinerator build. This is an artillery build designed for precision targeting at long range. Equipped with 2 incinerator catapults, these weapons can hurl flammable liquid at great distances. In addition to this, the Blight Cabin can increase the flame puddle size up to 30% for a limited time. Adding rear big ram mechanical legs puts the incinerators in a forward-leaning position, which allows for close-range attacks as well. And with a corrosion paint finish, this build is ready to take on any opponent. Next up is the dual remedy build. This hefty dog build is ready to take enemies head-on if it has to. Equipped with 2 remedy flamethrowers and a Chameleon MK2 cloaking module, this build is designed for sneak attacks on unsuspecting opponents. Adding a Blight Cabin increases fire damage by 40% while its perk is active. And with a Fire Salamander paint finish, this vehicle looks like it's ready to heat things up. So with that being said, which one do you think will outperform the other? Well, let's check out some gameplay highlights and then we'll see the results. Well, I gave it everything I had. Now let's see those scores. I'll start with the dual remedy first. With 2 MVPs, a high score of just over 2,000 points, but a burst score of 23 points, the dual remedy build gets a rating of C-, or complacent. I also added a survivability rating in this episode, which tracks how many times I survived even though our team may have lost. So in this case, I survived 12 out of 20 games, or 60%. Lastly, we have the dual incinerator build. With 3 MVPs, multiple high scorers of over 1,600 points, and a burst score of 35 points, the dual incinerator build gets a rating of B, or balanced. This is the best rating up to this point in the series, and after playing it for a while, I would have to agree that this is a well-rounded build at this power score. Well, that will wrap up the second episode of Battle of the Builds. I really hope you've enjoyed watching this series so far, and if you would like to test out these builds for yourself, you can find them on the exhibition for a limited time under the name X2 Incinerator and X2 Remedy. Other than that, I'll see you here next time on Crossout Basics.